You know, you get in the cold water, you immediately breathe in heavily, and you kind of, it's a gasp. And then you relax into the discomfort. That has opened up so many things for me in my life, training my nervous system to relax into the discomfort and accept that it's there. I think this has trained me to immediately get in touch with my breath when I face like some kind of stressor at work, in life. And then sort of leaning into the discomfort is what I think it's helped me to do.
Welcome to Live Well, Be Wise, the podcast that deepens the well-being conversation, finding the gold in your stories of hardship and the connection to wise action and lived wellness. Today, we are honored and excited to sit down with community member and healthcare provider Kelly Condefer. She authentically shares with us about how she broke through the myth of seeking happiness in achievement and her reckoning with lifelong depression. Folks, this is a story that's filled with inspiration and hope, and it could leave you pondering your own path to happiness, some of your habits, and who knows, even considering a cold plunge.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Love that applause button.
You have to have
I've been dying
applause.
to use that
I just
button.
wish I could hear it.
You have to have applause. You will. You will.
So, Kelly, we're here to talk about this intersection of wisdom and wellness, which is to say, how do we shape our own living definition of wellness through life itself? So I'd love it if you would kick us off here with just a personal lived definition of what wellness is.
Yeah, I think wellness for me I could probably sum it up with a few words: balance, serenity, energy, and connection. So both in the spiritual realm, the mind, and physical. That to me is wellness.
Yeah. How do you kind of live into that?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things sort of describe, what is required to live a happy life, basically, or a contentment in life. Part of my journey in wellness included developing a daily practice, which it almost didn't matter what it was. But when I'm doing my daily routine in the morning, I definitely have a sense of that wellness. And I try to hang on to that for the rest of my day.
Yeah. And what kinds of things do you do?
My routine includes very brief kind of meditation, breathing meditation. I really have always found breathing, when I finally learned how to breathe, when you do that, you realize you weren't really breathing before.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
It is. That to me was the key to connecting with my body. So I do some breathing exercises that I learned from studying Ayurvedic medicine, and then I do skin brushing, like I do a dry brushing of my skin. And then I get into a cold bathtub. Sometimes frigid cold, sometimes not as cold. But I think that's one of actually the most important things that I do that has helped me more than any other balance myself and energize myself. There's a physiologic reason for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my chance to build resilience. You get in the cold water, you immediately breathe in heavily, and you kind of
Like a gasp.
It's a gasp. And then you relax into the discomfort. That has opened up so many things for me in my life, training my nervous system to relax into the discomfort.
Wow.
And accept that it's there. And then the discomfort actually melts away a bit, and you're just kind of breathing, focusing on your breathing. And yeah, and that's Usually that's my basic routine.
So you're intentionally bringing this uncomfortableness into your life to maybe train yourself to face that unknown that's out and about when you're not necessarily expecting it.
Right. I do think that our nervous systems get programmed. They get programmed by trauma, by all of, and by all of our experiences. And so this is this is a forced, going into discomfort. There's also an adrenaline rush from it, which I think helps. But then connecting with your breath, something about that, it helps. And so it's kind of a training of the nervous system, I think. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are physiologic explanations for that.
Oh, I love the way you're explaining it.
Yeah. And different people get different things from the cold water. There are physical benefits probably.
Sure.
And all of that plays into it too. But cold water was a big... I actually felt proud of myself to build up to that ability.
Right.
And it took me about a year, to be able to tolerate it. Yeah.
And how does that translate to your own resilience and tolerance to stress then for the nervous system itself when you're not in the bath?
Yeah. So if I encounter, a stressful situation, I think number one, and it's not that I don't ever get stressed or ever lose it or want to hide, or I think this has trained me to immediately get in touch with my breath when I face some kind of stressor at work, in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sort of leaning into the discomfort is what I think it's helped me to do.
Yeah.
Do I do it every time? No.
Yeah.
I had an experience yesterday where I thought that the wrong counters were installed at my new house that I'm building, because I went to look at it and it looked beautiful, but
not what you picked.
I thought this is not what I chose.
Oh boy.
And I had almost a meltdown. But then I realized you get into that mind of, well, it should be what I wanted. It should be this other way. And then I went to the countertop place and I said, I didn't pick this one. And he said, yes, you did. But then I left there and I thought, I just got in my car and breathed and just realized that it wasn't necessary to be so upset about it. And I was lucky to be building a house and putting these beautiful countertops in them. So
you were able to reframe it. You came back to your senses.
It. Yeah. Reframing is a key skill to have.
Yeah.
Not looking at it from, I was wronged.
Right.
Looking at it from, how lucky am I to have this?
Right.
I also hear you saying, though, that you're human.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You have these practices, but you are also human.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I went into my default coping mechanism for stress is to freeze. To freeze and retreat into myself. Sometimes I can't. I can barely express myself. I've learned to not beat myself up for that either.
Yeah.
Just be a little easy on myself.
Thank you for that part.
Have a little grace for yourself. It's just a learning. Yeah. Just ride the wave.
Oh, that's such a great example. Yeah. Okay. I got to write that down. Relaxing into discomfort. Training the body to relax into discomfort.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. That's a nugget.
Yeah, that's a nugget. Discomfort. We're lucky that we don't have to sustain, I think, as much discomfort in our lives as people used to,
For sure.
But we have different types of discomfort now, I think, and sometimes you can change the situation and sometimes you can't. So
that's a great lead in, Kelly. Is there a story from your life that you'd like to share with us today that illustrates your own journey in the wellness and wisdom process?
One story I could share is about my struggles with major depression throughout my life. But another story is also just about going through a divorce after a marriage of 13 years, which they're kind of intertwined. I think the reason I got into a marriage that ended up lasting 13 years, or I stayed in it 13 years, even though it was wrong for me, has a lot to do with the things that didn't lead to my depression struggles, but because I do think there's just a physiological and genetic aspect to the depression I have suffered, but it's also certain mindset and certain patterns of thinking and feeling that contribute to that. So, yeah, and I think growing up, we all were raised in this kind of society that really values achievement and acquiring things, being taught that happiness is outside of you. You have to acquire it somehow. And that's how I was raised. And achievement was self-imposed. I didn't have a family that demanded certain achievements of me, but I had this, my whole identity when I was young was built around being smart and being the best student. And that was really hard to keep up, and it was really hard when, you had those moments that showed you weren't the best student, and it would shatter me. And that, I think that type of cycle of just only focusing on achievement and what am I doing? How am I seen by other people?
Yeah.
That was really the story of my growing up. The one thing I had to learn, and I didn't learn it until really not too long ago, was that fulfillment, happiness, it is within you. You can't acquire it from anything.
Even in achievements.
I think to learn these lessons, sometimes you have to have an experience that is like your dark night of the soul. But maybe my dark night of the soul was when I had gotten to the top of that achievement ladder. And I realized, there's nothing up here. Yeah. Or there's nowhere else to go.
Or it wasn't sustainable.
And it wasn't sustainable. Yeah.
Fulfilling.
I realized, whoa, my whole philosophy of how I thought life is wrong. So that was kind of a moment for me. It sent me into one of the depression episodes I'd had over the course of my life. I think I really suffered with depression throughout my schooling, throughout medical school. I had all the symptoms of it and asked for help and was kind of poo-pooed as being just a silly girl who, she's upset about a boy, or that was my experience going to a therapist, counselor that was at my medical school. And I just couldn't get help. So then you achieve this thing that you think that all along I was thinking, once I get there, I'll be happy. Once I have this, I'll be happy. Once I have a relationship, I'll be happy. Yeah, none of those things really were there. So that probably was the start of so that I was in my early 30s then. That was probably the start of my wellness/spiritual journey. And at that time, I was married to my now ex-husband, and he was not on that journey. So I think that was the first sign, that we were going in different directions with our lives, really.
Yeah.
I think at that point I started to really started to just seek answers or healing or,
What did you feel like problem was then? I mean, what?
I think, the problem...
You focused on the depression or...
Yeah, the depression, and part of what I really felt through the work I had done, getting to know myself, learned is probably my deepest wound, which was I was just feeling like I didn't belong anywhere, and that I think that feeling had been with me my whole life, even though I grew up with a nuclear family that was... my parents are still married. There was love in our family. But I because of, I think, the focus on outwardness that I grew up with, I think I left me without a feeling of belonging anywhere. And I think that feeling really reared its head when I got up and I became, I'm like, okay, now I'm this professional that I thought I was having this job was going to make me happy.
So it sounds like you were possibly looking for inward knowing versus that external material having.
Yes, exactly. I went away from having or acquiring to just finding what's inside you. And one of the first things I came across, in trying to learn about this was mindfulness, the practices of mindfulness and reading John Kabat-Zinn's books and reading The Power of Now, which by Eckhart Tolle. Yeah. I think that book was like this, it caused a switch to go off in my brain where it was the first time I realized that I was not my thoughts. Because up until then, I was completely living in my head with all these goals that I thought I had. And
socialized to do.
You're socialized to do it.
The American way.
Yes. The American way, right? Yeah. Yeah, and so I think, and I'm not going to say I became a mindfulness expert or that I even practiced it every day, but just knowing about that concept did something to my mind where I felt the separation that I was actually who I really am is just the presence that's observing these thoughts. That was just it was like a earth-shattering concept to me at that time.
It's like the clouds parted.
Yes, it
light
was.
Shone down.
I was like,
that's huge.
It was really huge. And I remember after reading The Power of Now, like getting so much comfort from doing little practices, feeling the chair you're sitting on, noticing what you're doing. I even remember a moment at that time I lived in Pennsylvania and I used to swim at the YMCA every morning, and I was like in the shower there and I was feeling the water and I wasn't thinking about, I have to go to work and I have
right. I'm almost
bunch
out of
of
soap
people to see.
Or socks are dirty or whatever.
Whatever. But it was like this comfort in the current moment. That was one of the first things that I had to kind of discover myself, because it wasn't part of my growing up.
No. Yeah. So can I just point back to that for a moment? Maybe we can all just feel the chair we're sitting in and the earth beneath our feet, and find the breath. Just pause to take in the gravity, potentially, of the fact that we are not what we think. We are not our thoughts. We are the presence that is beyond and within us. The breath of this moment. Thank you for that, Kelly. That's a really big thing to learn.
Huge. I think it changed my whole outlook, understanding of life. And it allowed me to, let go. It made me comfortable with the nothingness that was up at the top of that ladder that I was climbing.
Right.
It allowed me to be there in that nothingness and be like, I like this. I'm okay.
Yeah. Wow. That's
huge. It was like profound. I mean, that was a big learning for me to go through. And, I didn't at that time then become someone who meditates 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day. I didn't get into a regular practice of it.
It's okay.
But it was somehow just this shift in my mind
Well, that's the start.
That was the start, and the whole basis for whatever else I was able to learn and acquire understanding of, and have self-care tools to use in my life.
It sounds like it was kind of the thing, I think for all of us, well, for many, many people I've heard speak of these sorts of transformational stories or events in their life, and it's like there's always one thing that opens the door, and there it goes, and then you're just in this place of exploration and sometimes lots of pain, but you're unwinding, unlearning.
Absolutely. And even now, let's see, I'm going on 18 years after I had that sort of realization. I still slip back into it. There's still times where I go to a professional meeting and I'll feel like, imposter syndrome, I'll feel that.
Yep.
But then you can always go back to that place. Like once you have that place, you can always go back to it. Purely yours. It's inside you, this serenity of some kind. And it's not always possible to feel the serenity. But I think that helped me to understand that to achieve happiness, it was going to come from me. It was not going to come from me having a specific thing in my life or structure to my life or
outcome,
achievement or outcome. It had to be in me. Well, I was raised Catholic, which didn't help a lot with a lot of these frameworks I grew up with. But I started reading some of the works of different Catholic saints, like there was Saint Teresa of Avila. But Saint Teresa had this concept of the golden palace inside in your heart. And she wrote about always being able to retreat to that palace. Yeah, it was such a beautiful thing and a beautiful understanding of God or concept that just stuck with me, that image or that feeling.
I think it's always nice when you can have the words and images to match the sensations in your body of being.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those images is what brings you back. A lot of what you've been talking about is remembering and forgetting and remembering and forgetting, which is our humanness. But to actually have that in your body and, I remember because I felt XYZ because I remembered 1, 2, 3, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
We attach those things to each other, and then that creates a whole narrative and a spark, and then it creates belief, and then it percolates into thoughts.
Yeah.
And behaviors
and
change.
Behaviors, yeah.
And then our life changes.
Absolutely. And I think that was another profound realization. If you can embody a feeling of how you would like to feel, or how it's embodying that feeling that helps attract good things, rather than asking for something to happen to you or for you.
Right.
Like a lot of the ways that we are taught to pray growing up were ask God. I remember pleading to God, please give
help me. Yeah.
Please help me. Please do this for me. So that means you're starting from this place of lacking. And that never really helps you out of a bind, or it helps you improve your well-being. Yeah. But if you can feel the way that, if you can feel in your heart, conjure up the feeling of what it would feel like to, belong. It's like you're caring for yourself, and there's something about that fills you up. I think just that act of doing things to take care of yourself and to show that you love yourself, or to experience that you do love yourself. I think that's where lack can go out the window, is when you're able to do things like that. And I guess that's argument for doing a daily routine. A lot of people don't feel like they deserve to do self-care things. And
so true.
True. Especially as women who are
even if it's informally. Their day is about caring for everything and everyone else.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, if I get to it, I'll give myself 20 minutes at the end of the day. I mean, that's a real success for some people.
It is. But that's where I try to be kind to myself and not beat myself up for not taking care of myself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we don't need to throw another arrow.
You don't need to, have another thing you need to achieve for the day.
Yeah, and that's always hard to not feel like it's just one more thing on the list.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah. Right?
It is hard.
So hard.
And it should not be a list. It should be, this is myself. It's a big bubble.
It's a self. Yeah, It should be a big bubble. Yeah, exactly.
So instead of offering our listeners advice, do you have a question that you would like to offer as an inspiring prompt for themselves on their own path?
Can you feel and can you embody a feeling that you want to have? And the other question is, do you know what your deepest wound is, and can you be with it? And that's harder, but I think that's difficult. Not everyone can do that, and that's okay.
Right. Or certainly not alone. So,
absolutely.
Right. So going back to the first one, just so I can fully unwind it and understand it. You're saying, and I think this comes back to, you were talking about learning about Teresa of Avila.
Yeah.
And her practice of,
she called it the golden
palace, the
yeah.
within, deep place within us that is timeless and almost sounds like a soul, sort of a beautiful experience. So can we invite or inspire ourselves by almost planting the seed within us of what we dream of or desire, and then bring it to life? Is that what you're pointing to?
Or actually feel it. Actually feel it.
Right as you were explaining it, I was going to a course that I had taken, a compassion course, and so I was imagining someone writing down the actual feelings.
Yeah.
What would it feel like if I belong?
Yeah.
What would it feel like if I wasn't lonely?
Yeah.
So really getting in there to parse it out with words.
Yeah, with words.
Because sometimes we see it with black and white.
Or what does wellness feel like?
Yeah. What would that feel like? What would it feel like in my body? Like, where would I feel it in my body? Because I think that's what emotions are, is they are physical feelings, like in our body. Yeah, and I think that's a challenge
for sure
to get to. But
sometimes we need challenges.
Yeah, we do. We need little challenges.
Yeah, it's easy to know, at least in my own body, on that journey, it's always been easy to know what I don't want to feel.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes starting there is beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel gut ache. I don't want to feel heartache. I don't want to feel the anxious way my stomach jumps before I fly. But to actually ask yourself, what does it feel like, or can I feel this?
Yeah, I feel
what we're looking for.
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate that nugget, because I'm going to take that question and lend it to a friend and tell them that a person of wisdom had this question for the greater beings out there.
Right. Can you feel it?
Do you use that with your patients ever?
It's interesting. Maybe I should, though, because a lot of what I'm doing with people is taking, it's on me to give them something or to help them with some problem. And that's how the approach I take. But what if I took the approach where I was more just helping them to
facilitate
or accept. Sometimes it's just
partnership
acceptance.
Rather than you just saying this would be best for you.
Yeah.
Maybe if you ask them these type of questions, then it's a more of a participatory.
What I would really like to do with my patients is to empower them more. And I do that. I try to do that. But a lot of people can't be empowered. They just need you to fix them. And there are times where that's appropriate with emergencies and things like that.
Absolutely.
But for dealing with chronic diseases and just for a lot of people I see, I'm just their support person. Like I'm just the person who listens and understands what they're telling me, which is a relief for a lot of people who suffer from different diseases that not everyone knows about, you know.
Oh, it's huge
yeah.
support.
And so, but yeah, I think I like that idea of challenging someone to, gosh, do you remember what it felt like when you did this, or
when's the last time you felt well?
Yeah,
what did that feel like?
What did it feel like? Yeah, can you remember that feeling now? Can you try to feel it now? Because I bet that type of imagery and just
just you saying
help.
that brought a little peace around my heart.
Yeah. Like, imagine your doctor saying that to you. Oh, that's really beautiful. I love that.
It's for all of us, really.
Yeah, it's for everyone.
Yeah, it is.
When was the last time you felt well, and what was that like? Can I change my question to that?
There's no going back.
There's no going back. Oh, no.
Oh, wait a minute. We'll be back in 5 minutes. We just circle, right?
Yeah.
It's just a big circle of life.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, forget.
Oh, we will
Remember,
be.
forget.
Remember, yeah, exactly.
Remember.
Well, thank
Love
you
that.
so much for being here with us. We're honored to walk into your process and your wisdom path and the embodied wellness that it sounds like you have, and you're always working on, because you now have a lot of value around it and have found just a lot of beauty and it sounds like happiness.
Yes.
Maybe some belonging.
Even some belonging. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you both. This was it was so like healing for me just to have this conversation and think about these things. That was great.
Come back anytime.
Thank you.
Live Well, Be Wise is produced and recorded by Kari Lyons Price and yours truly, Dorinda Carlson. Our music is titled Inside You by Leva, a musician and composer at Lemon Music Studio, who we happily found on pixabay.com. Our circle of sharing has concluded for today, but we'd like to give a great gratitude to you, my friend, for listening, for tuning in, maybe even tapping into that understanding and compassion and the knowing within that tells us we're not alone in our own stories. So maybe you would like to share one of your own, or know a friend or a mentor or a teacher, someone you admire that has an extraordinary and inspirational story. We all have stories. The more we share, the more we know we're not alone. And don't be shy to reach out to connect in other ways, too. Of course, we'd love for you to subscribe and also give feedback. We wouldn't be here without you. We appreciate you. Live well, be wise.